In this video, I'll build a slide transition in After Effects with full controls for direction, shake, and motion blur, all adjustable from a single layer. Let's get started. Create a new composition. Call it Slide Transition 1 and make it 25 frames long. I'll add a null object, call it Control, make it orange, turn it off, and lock it to the side. We'll keep all the controls here. Now I'll add an angle control and call it Direction. Then a slider control and call it Shake. Duplicate the slider and rename it to the random seed. Let's add some footage to see what's going on. I'll cut it at frame 6 and add a marker there. I'll call it Cut. Duplicate the null object and rename it to Animation. Let me turn on its effect controls and move to the left. Delete the effects. I'll add a slider control to it. Call it Animation Control. I'll add a keyframe at frame 0, then set it to 1 at the cut frame, and then back to 0 at the last frame of the transition. Select the keyframes and easy ease them. Now, go to the graph editor and adjust the speed curve so that the animation goes fast in the middle, but smooth in the beginning and in the end. I'll turn the graph editor off and put the animation layer on the bottom. Add an adjustment layer and call it Slide 1. Then add a motion tile effect. Alt-click on Tile Center, type S equals, and then link to the animation control slider. On the next line, type A equals and link to the direction control. Now let's convert that angle to radians. Type R equals degrees to radians, open parentheses, A minus 90. I subtract 90 to align it correctly with the After Effects coordinate system. Next, type X equals S multiplied by this comp width, multiplied by math cosine, parentheses R. X is the horizontal offset. It's the full comp width, scaled by the direction angle and driven by the animation curve. Now a similar line for the vertical offset. Y equals S multiplied by this comp height, multiplied by math sine, parentheses R. Same idea as X, but I use sine instead of cosine to extract the vertical component of the direction angle and scaling by the comp height instead of width. Now let's set the base position, which is the current value, plus X and Y offset. Let's add the shake. First, the frequency. Set it to 4. Next, amplitude equals S multiply, and link to the shake slider. And multiply by 10. Now, the shake will follow the animation control, and I multiply it by 10 so that the pixel values feel significant. On the next line, type seed random, parenthesis, link to the random seed control and add plus index, so that layer duplicates get different patterns. Finally, type base plus wiggle, open parentheses, freak, amp, close the parentheses, minus value. This adds the wiggle on top of the base position, then subtracts value so the shake is relative to wherever the tile center already is, rather than jumping to an absolute position. I'll set shake to 25 and random seed to 10. Great, the slide is working, but we need to fix a couple of things. Turn on mirror edges to make the borders seamless. Now let's make the second footage motion follow the first one. I'll cut the Slide 1 layer at the cut marker. Select the new layer, press E twice to reveal the expression, and multiply the S variable by -1, which reverses the direction so the incoming shot slides in from the opposite side. Let me try a few different direction angles to show how flexible this is. You can choose any angle, and it all works seamlessly. By the way, if you want transitions like this already built and ready to use, the Ultimate Motion Bundle has a lot of them, for After Effects and Premiere Pro. Check the link in the description. I'll add a keyframe to the animation control at frame 9, switch to the value graph, and pull it down slightly. This softens the midpoint of the motion and makes the slide feel smoother. I'll add another slider control to the control layer and call it blur. Duplicate the adjustment layer, prolong it up to the first frame, delete the motion tile, and rename it to blur. Add a directional blur effect. I'll link the direction to the direction control, and then link the blur length to the animation control value multiplied by the blur slider. This way, the blur will follow the animation curve. I'll set it to 100. Then I'll add motion tile to fix edge clipping. I'll set it to 115, turn on mirror edges, and put it before the blur. I'll delete the footage, as the transition works as a preset with any videos or images. Let's create a new comp. I'll call it Edit, and make it 180 frames long. Let me quickly add the footage to the timeline, and roughly cut it. Looks good. Now, create 3 copies of the transition, and open them up. I'll adjust the random seed and the direction for each of them. Great. Now, let's add them to the timeline. The markers will help to position them exactly at the cuts. And don't forget to turn on the collapse transformation switched so that the adjustment layers work properly. Let's get a look. There it is. A fully adjustable slide transition with direction control, shake, and motion blur, all from one preset. Hope it helps you in your projects. Thanks for watching, and happy creating!